Welcome to Born to Watch. We're three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Hey there, fellow watchers. I'm Whitey, and this is another episode of Born to Watch, and an episode where we break new ground. Tonight we move out of our comfort zone and head into the romantic comedy genre. He thought she was just a pretty woman. Nothing more, nothing less. He was wrong. The 1990s smash hit Pretty Woman is our movie this week. Now let's meet the team. G-Man, sitting opposite me. How are you, mate?
Good evening, Whitey. Good evening, Morgs. Happy to be back in the studio again. It's looking to do a rom-com, something different. So this is really good for us.
Well, episode
really stretching our wings.
We are. We're spreading the wings. And episode 37, it's taken 37 episodes. I'm not calling Love Actually a rom-com, because in that episode we decided it wasn't a rom-com. It's just a Christmas movie.
That's right.
Anyway,
looking forward to this. It's going to be great. It
should be fun. Looking forward to it. Gal giving the appalled head like he's not really into it. Anyway, here we go. Let's fake it for 90 minutes. Dan, up there on the land with his banana hat. How you going?
Can we do the rank bank now?
No, we won't do the rank bank now. We'll do that at the end.
Let's just get it over and done with. But no, big week on the land. Heaps of kangas. I got about 50 kangas on the land today, just cutting sick. But kids back at school today. I don't know about your kids, but my kids back to school today. So it was very quiet around the land. I'll probably get called on for a daily nooner, I reckon, for the next week. So
make the most of that.
Yeah. So, I'd prefer a hamburger, but, we'll do what you can.
Should we not call you between 12 o'clock and 12:03?
Yeah. Just if I don't pick up the phone, you know what I'm up to.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Righto. All right, well, guys, if you want to support the podcast and help the show grow, make sure you subscribe to us on all the podcast platforms or your one of choice, and share to all your friends. You can also find us on every one of the social platforms, which Gal loves just scrolling through and looking at our stuff. Facebook, Insta, TikTok, YouTube, MySpace, Yahoo Messenger. Feel free to reach out and join the community. Okay, now that is out of the way, this has been some time coming. We've had many, many requests for this movie, or one like it. Or probably more, one that doesn't involve copious amounts of violence, huge muscles, nudity, and swearing. We finally caved, and Pretty Woman was the obvious choice, a breakout role for Julia Roberts, who will go on to rule Hollywood for the next 20 years. It also ushered in the decade of the Gere. From a career that promised so much early on, he sort of floundered a bit in the mid to late 80s. But 1990 was a breakout year for him as well, with two massive hits with Pretty Woman and Internal Affairs. Gents, this will be a good question. I know what Gal's going to answer it with. When did we first see Pretty Woman? Gal, go.
I don't know. I can't tell you when I first saw this. I think it was around the time it came out.
Did you see it at the movies, you reckon?
Not sure. Could have. I mean, 1990 was out. Yeah,
1990.
So
yeah.
could have been a movie.
Yeah.
Could have been straight to movies.
Could have been a date.
Where did you see it, Morgs?
What about you, Dan?
You missed a social platform when you listed them off before. My mate Tommy was up here the other week, and he's on this new one that it's like a full hookup one. It's not like there's no pretense. You don't have to romance or anything. You just root them, and they root you. But I can't think of what it's called. But I reckon we should get on them. How do you reckon we would have gone on the dating apps?
It's not Grindr, is it, Dan?
No. It's not the dude one. I mean, Grinder's fine, but it's not. No, he's hetero. So I might give him a call. But how would you two have fared in the digital world?
See, I think not well. I think I've always said that I'm not sort of a love at first sight sort of guy. I said, but you give me 4 to 6 months and I'll charm the pants off you. So if I'm relying on someone swiping the right way with a photo and some witty repartee, I'm out.
Look, I don't know. Back in the 90s, were chicks into longbacks and small teeth? I mean, if they were, I
Yeah.
reckon I'm a hit. But
We,
yeah,
you
so I don't know.
You know damn well they were, you Lothario, G-Man, 10 Rooter that you used to be. Gow, listeners, if you don't know already, Gow smashed up that much hot toddy back in the day. He was just he was the swordsman of Wheeler Heights, and
Gow did all right. Gow did all right. Gow wouldn't have needed the app, and he's a testament to the fact that it didn't matter whether you were app worthy or not. You could still do it. Gow was good.
I personally, I would have liked to have had a go on the app.
Oh, you don't photograph very well, Dan.
No, that is the only problem. I need to whisper sweet nothings in your ear for 4 to 6 months, like you.
Yeah,
to
you do.
Or
it'd be very, very dark and very, very dingy.
What would have been your handle? What handle would you have run with?
Yeah, actually,
Swerve lover.
On the swerve.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, look, on that note, let's listen to the trailer.
Welcome to Hollywood. Everybody comes to Hollywood, got a dream. What's your dream?
When I was a little girl, I would pretend I was a princess trapped in the tower, and then this knight on a white horse would come charging up and rescue me.
Could you tell me how to get to Beverly Hills?
Sure. For $5.
You can't charge me for directions.
I can do anything I want to, baby. I ain't lost.
All right, okay. You have change for 20?
For 20, I'll show you personally. Wow.
Impressed?
You kidding me? I come here all the time. Well, color me happy. There's a sofa in here for 2. Close your mouth, dear.
Who is this girl? Does she work? She's in sales.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a date.
This isn't a date, it's business.
That led to a deal.
I have a business proposition for you. I'm going to be in town until Sunday. I'd like you to spend the week with me.
That's becoming a dream come true.
Time to shop. Get rid of your gum.
All right.
I don't believe you did that. You're going to be spending an obscene amount of money in here. So we're going to need a lot more help sucking up to us because that's what we really like. You understand me?
Sir, if I may say so, you're in the right store and the right city, for that matter.
They're two people who have no business being together.
Everybody is trying to land him. Well, I'm not trying to land him. I'm just using him for sex.
Just doing a little business.
The company I'm buying this week, I'm getting for the bargain price of about $1 billion.
$1 billion? Your folks must be really proud, huh?
Everything was going their way.
Well done!
Well done!
Walk, walk, walk!
Until...
I don't want you to go.
You hurt me.
Yes.
Don't do it again.
something unexpected happened.
What the hell is wrong with you this week?
You fell in love with him? Did I not teach you anything?
Look, I'm not stupid. She rescues him right back.
Pretty Woman.
Maybe you guys could, like, get a house together. Buy some diamonds.
Well, another 90s trailer there, and what a soundtrack this movie has, and the trailer there really shows it off. Some absolute bangers there, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. Gal, we're going to set over and unders at 10 for this one. What do you think?
Over 10, for sure. It's 32 years old, this
Yeah,
movie.
okay.
Got to have seen it over 10.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
What about you, Dan?
I haven't seen it that often. I would say unders. I watched it with my wife, and she could recite it like it was a movie that we love, and knew every line and preempted every line. It was like us watching Die Hard. She was able to. So I think for a different demographic than it was revered, and very much loved.
Well, it was in 1990, and I was in junior high, dickhead.
What not? 1990 was pretty special for us.
The 90s were good. There's no.
But 1990, year 10, Cromer High for me and
Yep.
me and the G-Man. Year 9 for you.
Yeah.
What do you remember about 1990?
1990 was probably the first year that parties really became a thing, I reckon.
Yep. I think a
Parties
box
really
of
became a thing.
throwdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe throwdowns.
Sitting in the
that seemed to be
park.
thing.
Sitting in the park, watching you guys drink because I was a massive teetotaler.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
It's like-
trekking, a lot of trekking around the suburbs trying to get to these parties. Because there was no other way to get around.
And a lot of shitting yourself when a cop car drove past at 1 o'clock in the morning. No, they're after me.
Yes.
Get down.
I lost a bottle of blue Curacao and lemonade to the police at St. Matty's Farm in 1990 when they did a drive-by and I had to fling it super quick.
Yeah, we had to trek across the park there and watch them pour it out.
Was that when Gere was pashing off Diane down the back of the hill?
No.
That was earlier.
No, we were all at the we were all across one side of St. Matty's there, and we had to leg it to the other side.
It was a big.
We had to leave it there. It was hours of planning down the drain.
Yeah, but if the cops came in one side, you had plenty of room to go, didn't you, St. Matt's? Plenty of exits.
We were gone.
Yeah, plenty of exits.
We were in the wind.
Absolutely. Look, I think I'm under 10. I think I'm under. Firstly, I think I'm under 10 for this, so we'll get that out of the way. I saw this late.
Wait, I haven't finished on 1990.
We're going to get back to 1990.
Movie. All right.
Yeah, I know. Right, okay. So I think I'm under 10. I think I saw this once I started dating Megan, and she probably made me watch it. Look, romantic comedies weren't really on my radar in the 90s or the 2000s or the 2010s or the 2020s. To be honest.
You were kind of focused on Cooley High Harmony.
Absolutely.
You're more on the romantic tunes.
Yeah, romantic songs. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Loved it.
So, Morgs, let's go back to 1990 then. I know you've got some stuff in the chamber. Hit me with it.
I'm just.
What are you feeling?
Really, it seems to me as a big year for us three. We're playing some reasonable basketball at the time. I remember that was a bit of a thing for us. I was in a school musical. You guys came to see me in Bye Bye Birdie.
That's right. That was at Avalon Community Centre.
Yeah, that's right. You had to protect me walking down the main street of Avalon where all the AVCATs were checking me out with my makeup on. So that was fun.
I got motivated for the next year.
That's right. You were soon to join me on the stage, as was G, as the best tree that's ever been. We were watching Doogie Howser, MD, on Sunday nights with his mate Vinny.
Yeah.
I started my songwriting career playing Metallica songs with Tom on Ball up at Tomo's house at Colorado Platter. Not the inauspicious start, let's say, to my songwriting. And I had a massive time off school. I had glandular fever, the kissing disease.
You did too.
That's right. I remember
you were off for
weeks. The cricket game at Lake Park.
I reckon I got
caught it.
I got 6 weeks off. I reckon I milked it a bit, but I reckon it didn't do amazing things for my year 10.
We watched a lot of movies in that time, Dan. We watched a lot of movies in that time.
Morgs, do you reckon having glandular fever was what caused your cold throat issues in later years?
It did.
For those of you that don't know, Morgs did have a few issues when he was sculling a beer when you were younger. He used to have an issue with a cold throat.
It was a temperate, If the beer was too cold, it was just hard for me to get the VB throwdown down. So
those are the least of his issues. I'll give you the tip.
What about music, Aussie Gow? Have you got some pop info for 90? I was very intrigued. Yeah, I'd like to do a bit of 1990 first. You probably see I'm trying to avoid talking about the movie, so let's talk more about what songs were happening in 1990. What do you got, G Master?
I got a Billboard Top 20 for you, Morgs.
Oh,
here's one, and Whitey's going to break straight into the song here. I'm not even going to give you the song name. I'm just going to give you the band. Wilson Phillips.
Someday somebody's gonna turn around and make them in a man again,
baby.
Baby. Mate, it was done in. They did it really well in Bridesmaids, the movie Bridesmaids.
Yes.
Yeah. Wilson Phillips. She was a good sort. That China Phillips. She married Billy Baldwin.
Did
One
she?
degree of Billy Baldwin, I'm pretty sure.
Oh. She turned into a brooder?
Oh, she brooded. The songs got really dark after that.
Yeah, she was brooding.
Yeah.
Was she the brunette or the blonde?
Nah, she was the short-haired blonde.
Right.
Yeah, number 2 was obviously It Must Have Been Love by Roxette.
Well, that's in this movie.
A feature of the movie,
It's in
yes.
this movie,
We'll get to that, I'm
Would have been
sure.
Huge.
Nothing Compares to You, Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, that was written by Prince.
But look, I'll go to that. They're sort of similar in the Aussie ones, but number 2 in the Aussies was, can you believe this? MC Hammer.
Can't touch this.
Yep.
Can't
touch this.
It was massive, that song.
Madonna with Vogue.
Do you know what was even bigger? The parachute pants that Rod Hansen used to love to wear.
Oh, yeah. They were all the rage, weren't they?
Massive.
Yeah, they were
terrible.
That was a fashion thing.
It was a fashion thing, yeah.
But yeah, look, opposites attract, Paula Abdul.
Oh, 2 steps forward. That was with the cat. Remember?
Yes.
The cat was dancing.
How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? One of Whitey's favourites. That was
that's
on
good.
repeat,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Girl, I'm
mean,
gonna miss you.
Michael Bolton.
It's
Milli
pretty.
Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
It's very like probably one of the last years that was just so pop infused. Like there's really nothing. I mean, number 25 is a standout for me in the Aussie charts, which is one of the best one-hit wonders ever, and a guy made an entire career and still belts it out to this day. Mark Show No Mercy Williams.
Oh
with Show
yeah,
No
cracker of a
Mercy.
song.
Yeah. Just if someone can
Show
extrapolate,
no
that's
mercy.
it.
Yeah, good song.
Yeah.
What about number 18? Peter Blakely. And I
Heard you crying in the chapel.
It wasn't great, was it? Like that.
What about was there a
we were
Fergal
right into-
Sharkey? Was there a
There was
Fergal?
no-
No, he's earlier.
Fergal
Fergal Sharkey was earlier. He's late 80s.
We were
It was Linda
into. I
Ronstadt
think,
and Aaron Neville.
Oh, look
Yeah,
at
but
this mole. I'm
did we
trying
go
not
to
show
see-
it.
did we go to see the Angels and Cheap Trick in 1990 at the Horden?
Oh, 1990. Oh, I can't tell you.
That's probably a big chance.
Yeah, I think that was.
Saw a lot of bands between like 88 and 95.
Definitely remember going to see the Angels, but
Huh.
I can't remember where.
Yeah, was it? Well, I remember going to the Horden. Dogs Are Talking tour.
Yeah.
Well, what was the name of that
yeah.
album? Was it
Was it
the name
Dogs
of
Are
the
Talking?
album? Yeah, but was
Yeah.
that the name of the album?
I think so.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway,
Was that the
we
right?
can
Was it
edit that out
Redback? There was
later.
another one. Was that the album after Redback something?
Yes, yeah, it was a blue cover. That was
I
another
remember that
song
one was a
we
blue
used to
cover. That
jam
was
on up at Tomo's house.
Yeah, there was Beyond Salvation, 89.
that was the one. Beyond Salvation had Dogs Are Talking.
Yeah,
Yeah, that must have been it. Yeah.
Unskinny Bop, number 28.
Oh, mate,
Oh.
Poison were huge. Poison were huge in the 90s. All night and day.
Anyway, overly reasonably forgettable, the music of 1990, I've got to say.
Hasn't died yet. Hasn't died.
No, I know you're...
Okay, Gal, let's start ignoring Dan and move on from the man on the land. And why don't you tell us a bit about Pretty Woman?
All right, with the tagline, who knew it was so much fun to be a hooker? Academy Award nominee Julia Roberts and charismatic leading man Richard Gere.
Stop.
That cannot be the tagline.
That is not the opening of the tagline.
No, that was a tagline. That's online.
Wow.
The other one
He's
is
not-
she walked off the street into his life and stole his heart.
What about the one I thought up? Do you know the one I was actually going to see whether we could have a bit of a competition about who could think up the best tagline, but nothing to beat either of those. But I had one which was like, you can't buy love, but you can rent it.
It's a bit of a strange premise for a Disney movie. So I know we'll
Mate,
talk
seriously,
more about that in the future. Yeah.
I wish I had $1. I wish I had $1 for every time they say hooker in this movie, though. So, yeah.
All right. Academy Award nominee Julia Roberts and charismatic leading man Richard Gere light up the screen in this Hollywood blockbuster. Roberts stars as a streetwise, down-on-her-luck working girl whose chance encounter with a handsome corporate mogul lead to an improbable love affair. Pretty Woman is a modern-day Cinderella fantasy that captured the hearts of moviegoers all over the world. Featuring a chart-topping soundtrack, Pretty Woman is the ultimate feel-good romantic comedy.
I think it is. I found myself I'd forgotten so much about this movie. It's been so long since I'd seen it. But I actually found myself sort of on the edge of the seat, waiting to see what was going to happen.
You know who was really feel-good?
What, Jason Alexander?
Philip Stuckey.
Yeah. He was
What a feel-good guy.
He was not feel good. He tried to feel
He
good.
liked to. He was trying to feel good.
He was a grub. He's probably, and we'll get to him.
We'll get to
I'm
him.
sure we'll get to him. He could be the biggest grub we've ever spoken about on the podcast. All right, well done. Yeah, I don't mind it. The tagline's a bit rough, but the rest of it's.
Sorry, can you just say the opening line again from the first tagline?
Who knew it was so much fun to be a hooker?
That's not true.
What's online?
Oh my god! My
Who
god,
knew?
that's incredible. Who knew that was so much fun? It's not all heroin and stinky beds. Wow. Jesus Christ. Okay, we'll move into a critical thinking. Okay, IMDb has this movie rated at 7.1 out of 10. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it's our first movie that isn't certified fresh for some time. 66% on the tomato meter and 68% the audience score. Some interesting ratings there. Got a couple reviews here, quick ones. A good one, Peter Travers from Rolling Stone in 2018. The Robert smile, full-lipped, a mile wide and gleaming, is the closest the movies have yet come to capturing sunshine. Such dazzle should not be taken lightly. I think he's in love. I think old Pete's in love. The bad one, Jonathan Rosenbaum from the Chicago Reader. He pays a $3,000 and they fall in love. Ain't Hollywood grand? Oh, funny. All right, we're going to now move into Ordinary People, where we talk about the cast and in honor of the 1980 Academy Award winning movie. But first, we've got a few other ordinary people we want to touch on. Yeah, you got a couple of people that have touched base with us this week, or someone at least?
Yeah, look, I've got one back from an old mate. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago, but he got in touch. He's been busy in the US. Got old Rounders.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Rounders.
Well, mate, you should be very proud of him.
Yeah, mate, he got his award.
Yeah.
He got a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Best supporting actor, you know, so good on him. Good on you, Rounders.
Yeah,
good to see you
Rounders.
flourishing again.
Kicking ass.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
Ki-hee Kwan. Gal used to compete with him in the
commentators.
Old Rounders. So this shows that Dan doesn't listen to the podcast that he's an
You weren't present for that podcast, Dan. But yeah, old Rounders, mate. He, you know, because I gave him a bit of a touch up last time about his roundhouse kick, but he got in touch. He got in touch and said, "Hey, G, look, you guys might know that G's, you know, it's a play. It's my nickname. It's a play on my surname, but he actually started it. He called me G. He used to call me Guile style. You know, he said my style was a lot like Guile in."
Really? Was your hair? Was your hair like Guile?
Yeah, well, it was that too, but yeah, very rugged style. Yeah,
definitely
coming forward style.
No
but,
rules.
Yeah, mate. So, but he coined that. He said, "Hey, G, Rounders here. Please, you know you could never stop my roundhouse. Stop telling your fans this. Great work on the pod. Love the data you bring."
Oh, see what he did there.
See what he did there.
Oh,
mate. He's a smart bloke.
He's good. He's good.
As good as your defense ever was. Yeah. So thanks, Rounders. Good on you, buddy.
Yeah, mate. Well done. Congratulations.
Is he a shot at the Academy Award?
I think he is. There's talk that he is. He's gaining some momentum.
Wow.
So it's okay. I've got one from a long-standing fan and a one-time guest host of the podcast, Bones.
The king.
Yep, just
All hail the king.
All hail the king. Just listen to Goonies. Three great mates talking about movies they loved. Damo, 52, never seen it in his life. Gow twice. How pathetic. Thanks, Bones. Appreciate that. I always love it when you touch base with us. And then one other one just from Bones as well. When he got to finish the Goonies podcast, he goes, "Spot on, Whitey. 3.5. Goonies, good movie. Gow started working with the Chicago Tribune. Negative bugger." He didn't say bugger.
Please. That movie got what it deserved.
Punt.
Yes, I think it does.
It got what it deserved.
Okay, Gow, why don't you tell us about the cast of Pretty Woman?
All right. Well, let's start with Richard Tiffany Gere.
His name is not Tiffany.
His middle name is Tiffany. It's from his mother's maiden name.
So?
That was how well, that's his name. That's how he was named. Yeah.
No wonder there was some
And I
rumors.
said, what about breakfast at Tiffany's?
He said, "I think it's my mother's maiden name."
I think I'm alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around.
But look,
Tiffany.
one of his very early roles was in a Born to Watch favorite.
Welcome to Good Bar.
Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Welcome to Good Bar.
Let's just run through Mr. Goodbar again. A dedicated school teacher spends her nights cruising bars looking for abusive men with whom she can engage in progressively violent sexual encounters.
We love it.
Diane Keaton, Richard Gere, Tuesday Weld, Tom Berenger in his first movie, and Bill Atherton.
Okay, so here's what I'm suggesting. In the next 6 weeks, we're covering Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
We can.
We're going to do an episode on it. All right, so let's do it.
Sure. Sounds good.
Righto.
Look, that was 1977. Then American Gigolo, which was one of the big hits that he had that really put him on the map. That was 1980. with Lauren Hutton and Hector Elizondo as well.
Yeah,
was in that.
Hector.
And then into An Officer and a Gentleman as Zach Mayo, 82.
It's a great movie.
Cracking
Good
movie.
movie.
I actually just watched it about 2 months ago again.
someplace else to go.
Tim.
Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. wins an Academy Award and is an absolute powerhouse.
Oh, mate, all of them do really well in
Yeah.
that movie.
I
It's
think
fantastic.
probably not his best role though. Iron Eagle, I think, was where Louis Gossett Jr. really,
No doubt.
really shined.
No doubt. Wasn't he in Enemy Mine where he plays
He
the
was
lizard
in
guy
Enemy
with
Mine,
Dennis
yeah.
Quaid?
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he was.
Quaid.
But yeah, look, Breathless, 83. And then speaking of Mark Williams, No Mercy, 86. That was with Kim Basinger. But Internal Affairs in 1990, as Whitey said
movie.
earlier. And
That's
then,
a good movie.
And then Pretty Woman. And then look, a couple of little things, but Primal Fear was probably the next real big movie in
Oh
96.
yeah, we talked about that the other week.
Yeah,
It's a great movie.
Mm.
Most
Laura
notably for Ed Norton's
Ed
performance
Norton.
in that.
Yeah.
But, big movie. The Jackal, Runaway Bride.
Now, the Jackal is hilarious. Got Bruce Willis in
Yeah.
it who plays,
Yeah.
who plays the Jackal.
Doesn't he shoot
also-
Jack Black's arm off?
Jack Black,
when
yeah,
he's
with
he's
That,
trying to
that
get-
came up on
Oh.
Facebook just like a week ago where
Yeah.
he shoots the arm off and then he just hammers him.
Yeah, with the massive,
Yeah.
like it's a 50 cal machine
Yeah.
gun.
Like, run left,
Yeah.
run left.
Yeah.
Now go right.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
stand there.
But and then Chicago, 2002. Can you believe that's 20 years ago? With
won-
Renee
that won Best
Zellweger and
Picture.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Best
Yeah,
picture.
I actually
then,
like Chicago.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's back
worth-
to your
worth a
musical
watch.
roots.
Yeah, that's
John
it.
C. Reilly's amazing in Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm with Damo on that one.
he's a triple threat.
I'm with Damo on that
Not
one.
seen it.
Not seen it.
Right on.
Um,
I reckon
Mate.
Damo's seen Chicago. Don't worry about that.
made another one, another Whitey special, Nights in Rodanthe, 2008.
Oh God,
You'd love that.
he's in First Night with Sean Connery where he plays Lancelot as well.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
he
look,
stoics Juliette Binoche.
Julia Ormond.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Julia Ormond.
That's right.
But yeah, look, he's actually, this might come up later, but I'm going to say it now. He's an accomplished pianist himself. He actually wrote that song that he plays in the movie.
You did.
He wrote it and played it in the piano solo in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
if
actually
you
turned
had
down-
continued your piano career, you would have been unstoppable. Like you were a force to be reckoned with anyway as a pants man. But if you continued beyond your one-handed Star Wars rendition, I just think you would have been the next well-known Lothario.
Liberace.
Yeah,
Look,
Craig-
well,
maybe not Liberace. You could have been Craig McLaughlin.
Yeah.
speaking of, he was in the Billboard Top 20 before too. I noticed his name.
Mona.
But look, Morgs, you sort of sold me short there. I did Walk of Life was one-handed. That was my first song, but I actually did two hands for Star Wars.
You added a you took the notes off the beat.
He was
just
big.
so that you,
He was big on the bass lines, Gare.
I was actually no. You undersell me. I actually mastered the left hand. Yeah, using the left hand. So
Stencils
yeah.
walked you through that, didn't he?
His old man did. I had to master the left hand when I broke my right hand in 1998.
Oh God!
Spoiled.
But look, a couple of quick sliding doors here on Richard Gere. He turned down the lead role in Die Hard, which went to Bruce Willis in '88.
When
But
when did the gerbils go into his anal passage?
I'm not sure when the rumors start. I think it's around this
It's got to
time.
be early '90s.
I think it's around this time.
early to mid '90s. Yeah.
It was a
Look-
fairly prevalent rumor. Like
was-
I think
it
everyone
was
on Earth heard it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
It didn't make
That's
a
a
lot
mean-
of sense.
it's a mean rumor. That's
No.
mean
Bad
spirited.
rumour.
It's mean spirited.
Yeah, it's not nice. Not a nice thing to have out there.
It's like Axel Grease. It's a mean rumor.
Another Gale conquest.
What? Where do you get this stuff from?
It's just mean. People were mean spirited. People were mean spirited.
Anyway, we'll move on. Look, another sliding doors for Richard Gere was the three films that really made him a star. So one was Days of Heaven in '78, American Gigolo in '80, and An Officer and a Gentleman. All of those were turned down by John Travolta.
Really?
All of those
Yeah.
roles. John Travolta.
I
already
knew.
a big star.
I did know that Travolta turned down American Gigolo, but I didn't know he turned down Officer and
Yeah.
Gentleman.
All three. But look, obviously didn't harm his career. I mean, you can say it's a sliding door, but didn't. He was big then.
Gere's career or Travolta's career?
Well, I wouldn't say it harmed Travolta's. I mean, he was big already then, and he went into some other big movies. He was in a lot of big
He
movies.
was nearly
around then.
over. His career was nearly over by 1980, though.
Well, he had his renaissance. Yeah.
Until 93, 94.
But yeah, also Richard Gere turned down the role of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is the one he said he regrets the most.
Did you see that Al Pacino actually was offered the part?
Yes.
Of Edward. Did you imagine Al Pacino and Julia Roberts?
Yeah.
Well, he's about 3'4".
Yeah.
It would have been.
Plus he's much older too. He was much older too. But
He would. He would.
All right, next up we have Julia Roberts. Her first big break came not long before this when she was in Mystic Pizza with Vincent D'Onofrio as well, and Satisfaction in '88, which had Justine Bateman and Liam Neeson in it as well.
Yeah, I remember Satisfaction with Justine Bateman. Mystic Pizza was a big one for the girls.
It was. That was her first real movie, but then obviously her big success was Pretty Woman. Oscar nom.
Yeah, she did
Pretty
Steel
Woman.
Magnolia the year before. Which
Sorry,
sort of
you're right. Yes,
announced her, but then she just took over the world with this movie.
Yeah, she did. Yes. Yeah, obviously as an Oscar nom, and was also won the People's Choice Award for Favorite Actress. But she was nominated for Steel Magnolias for Best Supporting Actress, and obviously Pretty Woman as well. But then her run in like '89 to early '90s, Pretty Woman, Flatliners, Sleeping with the Enemy, Dying Young, Hook, The Player, and The Pelican Brief.
Yeah,
all of that up to '93.
Yeah.
So she was hitting her straps.
Well, she was the biggest star in the world.
Yeah. My Best Friend's Wedding '97, Conspiracy Theory '97.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it
Mel
is a good
Gibson.
movie.
I really
yeah.
like that.
The next one was Notting Hill in '99.
I'm just a boy standing in front of a girl.
Yeah, iconic English movie.
I'm just a girl.
And obviously, we talked about Runaway Bride, but Erin Brockovich in 2000, Best Actress and a BAFTA. So an Oscar and a BAFTA.
She's excellent in that. Excellent.
Ocean's 11 and all the Ocean's franchises, obviously, the ones she was in. Charlie Wilson's War in 2007.
Great movie.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Eat, Pray, Love in 2010.
Shit House.
Haven't seen it.
Shit House.
I've seen parts of it and it didn't hold my attention.
We shall never be doing Eat, Pray, Love on Born to Watch.
But yeah, look, most recently as in Gaslit, Martha Mitchell in Gaslit. So she's done the first season of that.
She's been a little quiet for some time now. She's sort of semi-retired.
Yes. Well, she had quite a hiatus and now she's back on TV.
Yeah, good.
As of that. But look, she turned down the lead in Shakespeare in Love in '98. That's a big turn down.
Yeah. Well, certainly did well for Gwyneth.
Yeah. She turned down the leading role in Sleepless in Seattle. Meg Ryan's role as well.
Meg Ryan was up for this role. Pretty Woman.
Yeah. There you go. But look, her films have grossed more than $2 billion at the box office as of 2007.
You can tell in this movie, she is an out and out superstar.
Yeah.
She just lights up the screen.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
She certainly does well in this movie.
Yeah.
We'll move on now to another star of the show we touched on earlier, J. Scott Greenspan, also known as Jason Alexander.
He's the best.
Yeah. He was a couple of movies before this. He was in The Burning in 1981 and then The Mosquito Coast.
That was that VD movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been on the podcast before. Mosquito Coast with Harrison Ford.
Mosquito Coast. It's a very small role. There's a clerk in that, but then obviously 1989 into Seinfeld, which is the role that's
look.
made him. That's what he is.
It doesn't matter anything else that he does. He will always be George Costanza.
Well, he'd done a lot of stage and things before that. I've only covered the movies, but that's what he'll be known as.
No. Yeah.
And then, so obviously 1990 into Pretty Woman. That's Phil Stuckey. Jacob's Ladder 1990. Coneheads 93. And then he's done a whole heap of voice work. Obviously, he's got the voice that he was in Duckman. He was Duckman in the cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did that for 3 years, 71 episodes, and then into Shallow Hal in 2001.
He's really funny in Shallow Hal. He's got the vestigial tail.
So here's a little nugget for you. He's the only one of the 4 actors on Seinfeld that was not to win an Emmy for their work on the show. He's the only one.
Really?
Yeah, and I think he's the best.
The show doesn't work without George.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Oh, he's unreal.
That's surprising. Even Gere won one.
Yep, Gere won one. He was nominated 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gere was the worst.
Well, Gere was the worst.
Yeah. But yes, look, 7 times he was nominated, didn't get the gong.
Oh, that's
He's really just playing Larry David.
Well, yeah.
He's essentially just playing.
So there was a story behind that. I don't know if you heard that. You might have had that for later on.
No.
He got the script and he was talking to Larry David and he's like, I can't have this part. We can't have this. Who'd react to this? Who'd have this situation? Who'd react to that situation like that? And Larry David goes, I've been in that situation. And that's exactly how I reacted. And then he was like, oh, okay.
Okay, I can do
Sorry,
it.
Larry. Look, next up, Hector Elizondo.
Yeah, love a bit of Hector. What a jobber.
Heaps of early jobbing.
Absolute jobbing.
Like early on, All in the Family, Maud. And then there's Maud.
Then there's
what a
Maud.
show.
He's good in
Columbo. Yeah, Columbo.
He's
really
excellent in this movie. I've got
very
him for later on. He's
understated.
excellent.
Yeah, not doesn't overplay his hand. It's good.
Yeah.
But American Gigolo, The Flamingo Kid, Leviathan, Frankie and Johnny in 91, Beverly Hills Cop 3. Terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But look, the recurring role he had and the one that everyone knows him for is Chicago Hope as Dr. Philip Waters. So he was the 141 episodes, the only one to be in every episode of Chicago Hope.
Wow.
And won Best Supporting Actor in 97 for that.
He's good.
But most recently in Last Man Standing, up to 2021, 194 episodes of the sitcom.
Okay.
Yeah. Turned down the role of Arturo in Sliders because it was being filmed in Canada, and then obviously got the role of in Pretty Woman. Al Pacino turned down that role as well.
Yeah.
So
can't see Al Pacino in any of the roles.
No, I can't. Yeah. But look, funny story here. Disney told Garry Marshall there was no money in the budget to get Hector Elizondo on there, so Garry Marshall paid out of his own pocket.
Yeah.
And got him on. So then in the end, they relented and repaid him. And then look, after that, we've got Ralph Bellamy. Obviously, he'd done a lot of stuff over the career. He passed away the year after this movie was made at the age of 87. So most people remember him from Trading Places as Randolph Duke, and then Coming to America, and then obviously in Pretty Woman.
Yep.
And the only other one is Laura San Giacomo. So everyone would know her from Just Shoot Me as Maya Gallo.
Yep.
But she was also in Sex, Lies and Videotape. That was her first movie.
That was her first movie, yeah, with James Spader. That's a Morgs. That's Soderbergh, isn't it, Morgs?
Yeah, I'd love a bit of Sex, Lies and Videotape.
Yeah, I hated it.
But look, here's one. She played the part of Crazy Cora in 1990 in Quigley Down Under.
Oh, 1 Degree.
There you go, Damo.
Oh, my God.
Just for you.
I can't see her in the Outback.
No.
She also played Nadine in the TV miniseries The Stand. The Far Superior.
The good one. Yeah.
The Far Superior 1990s.
I was so fucked off when they brought out that.
Very disappointing.
Dog's Breakfast, the recent one. I mean, it's just, they fucked it so bad.
Very disappointing. All right, Gal, what about the box office and the budget?
All right, box office. Domestic was $178.5 million and international $254 for a total of $432.5 million.
Wow.
Budget of $14 million.
Oh, wow.
So it smashed it. And they on the opening weekend, they made 11.2. They almost made their money back in the first weekend.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy. But we look at other 1990 movies. Obviously, Dances with Wolves was the biggest one.
Oh,
so that won everything. Best picture, best director, best screenplay, best score, best sound.
John Dutton.
Keep going. Good old John Dutton. The top box office movie was Ghost. $517 million.
Oh, there's talk they're remaking that.
I've heard that.
And there's some fuckwit going to play the Patrick Swayze part. I'll have to think about that. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Home Alone, $476.5 million in second spot. Pretty Woman in third for the year. Dances with Wolves in fourth with $424.
I think that's a lot of money for these movies in 1990.
Yeah, it is. Total Recall after that.
What a movie.
Back to the Future Part 3. But look, you know who the best actor was that year?
1990?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Kay Costner.
Robin Williams.
No, it was Jeremy Irons for Reversal of Fortune.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Funny, isn't it? I don't know that movie. Don't know at all.
Robin Williams didn't win his Academy Award until Good Will Hunting.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, best actress was Kathy Bates in Misery.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, really good.
When are we doing Misery?
Yeah,
because that's a cracker.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah,
James Caan, Jimmy Caan as well.
Joe Pesci got the best supporting in Goodfellas and Whoopi Goldberg for Ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good in Ghost.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, there's a whole heap of good movies out there. Rocky V out that year as well.
The worst of the Rockies.
Tommy Morrison.
Yeah, Tommy
Yeah,
Morrison.
Tommy Morrison.
He could
Went on to
fight.
bigger and better things.
He was a very
was a
good boxer. Yeah,
was.
phenomenal boxer. But
it was art imitating life. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
he just
shit.
got on the gear and
Mm.
yeah. All right,
But yeah, look, let's move on.
yeah. Let's move on. Okay, question time. Got 3 today. So Edward, old Eddie Lewis. He's got one girlfriend. He's a millionaire / billionaire. He'd be a billionaire today. This guy. Surely he's got one in every port if he's single. He'd just be calling his Beverly Hills bird, not asking someone to come from New York. Surely? Thoughts?
That must have been his new squeeze.
Yeah, it was weird.
He was looking for a new one in LA.
Yeah. Well, he did
Mate.
offer to shack her up.
He did. Nice guy.
She didn't like that.
He's not to be trusted. I wouldn't have done business with him. He doesn't drink piss.
He doesn't do anything.
No.
Doesn't do anything.
Fucking
Okay.
boring.
Well, it was funny. Like I read I don't know if you've got this, Gere, but when they first started filming the movie, he was very animated. And Garry Marshall pulled him aside and said, "Hey, mate, there's one person in this movie that moves, and it's not you. So just chill out, mate." Yeah. So he just had to play this really understated. He's a bit of a prick, really.
He does have that really, slow analytical.
Yeah.
He comes off very much as a corporate raider type.
Yes,
Like he comes
yes.
across as that
Yeah.
that sort of personality.
Okay. Is this the biggest hair ever in movies? Julia Roberts' hair. Have you ever seen hair bigger?
Yeah, it's a good buff.
I love it. It's good hair.
How did it fit underneath the blonde bob wig?
Good question.
Hmm.
Good question.
That is a really good question.
And
And that
it
was
did-
not a big bob.
No, it did look a little awkward on the top of her head. She a bit like coney, but when when you see her hair, you're like, that doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
No, it's good.
And
hair.
there were a lot of gratuitous hair shots in the movie.
Yeah.
There's that bit when the first night and she's lying on her stomach and her hair's all above her. Like there was a lot of hair work going on here.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
Just shaking it out. Yeah.
Very jealous. Okay. Is the soundtrack better than the movie?
Yes.
Soundtrack's pretty good.
Mate, I'm going to read them. Natalie Cole, Wild Women Do. David Bowie.
Wild women do.
Yeah.
Don't regret it.
David Bowie, The Fame, the 90s version.
Fame.
But
David Bowie, what a fucking loss he is. The more
yeah,
you realise how talented that guy was. Just
incredible.
Fuck, man.
Incredible musician. The fact that he actually stopped like being himself and turned himself into a character who he then killed off.
Yeah.
Mate, the guy's just a freak. Absolute freak of nature.
Mate, did some of his best work with Mick Jagger. Have you seen the film clip? Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Do yourselves a favour.
Girls just want to have fun or dancing in the street?
Dancing in the street. Sorry, Dancing in the Streets.
Yeah. No, it's bad.
One of the great film clips.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a version
also-
where they take the music away,
Oh, God.
and it is hilarious. Them dancing with no music.
Didn't he also perform Felicio on Mick Jagger?
Yeah, they were more than just mates. I'll give you the tip.
That's the rumour.
I think he gave him the
He
tip.
gave him the tip, that's for sure.
Mm.
Now, I think this is a big call, but probably the best song on the soundtrack. Go West, King of Wishful Thinking. They start the movie with it. And it's an absolute banger.
As soon as I heard it come on, I thought of you,
Mate.
and then I thought of
Jimmy Fallon and Paul Rudd.
Jimmy Fallon and Paul Rudd.
I got that later on.
Yeah.
I got that later on.
Fantastic.
But you've got Roxette, Must Have Been Love. You've got Robert Palmer. You've got
Roxette
Peter
were
Cetera.
massive.
Oh, Peter
Dude.
Cetera.
Roxette were
Massive.
huge.
Massive.
For 5 years, they were the biggest band on the planet.
We're gonna get set for success.
Dress for success. Dress for success,
Something
mate.
I'll get the words slightly.
Your words are
fucked up.
better.
But there's Peter Cetera.
What song is it? Because Peter Cetera is like Go West to me. They're very similar.
Yeah, so Peter Cetera was from Chicago.
No, I know, but I know he's got-
Tonight it's very clear. But he's got a song. I've got no idea what song it is. But you got obviously Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
With Pretty Woman, which was his sort of comeback. Really came back into pop culture. And there's actually a Red Hot Chili Peppers song, "Show Me Your Soul," on this soundtrack.
I noticed that in this viewing. I was like, that's the Red Hot
Yeah.
Chili Peppers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would have
yeah.
been off Mother's Milk, maybe. Freaky Styling,
Yeah.
one of those albums. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them. But I'm going to throw it out there and say it's neck and neck for if the soundtrack's better than the movie.
It's not
a good
fucking neck and
soundtrack.
neck.
That's a
The soundtrack's
really good
awesome.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
But you know what though, like mid to late 80s, early 90s, the soundtracks were incredible. Like Cocktail, the movie Cocktail has an unbelievable soundtrack.
Jamaica.
Don't forget that Tom Jones was in this movie too.
Was he?
Isn't the song? Isn't that the one she sings in the bath?
No, yeah, that's Prince. Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Oh no, it's Prince. No,
It's the Prince version.
It's Prince. Yes,
It's
yes,
the
yes.
Prince version. Yeah. Okay. Now we'll move into the categories. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to start with Gere today with good. What do you got, mate?
I think Julia Roberts' performance in this is really good for a young actress. As we said earlier, breakout role. Yeah, she was up and coming and really hits her straps in this movie. I thought she was fantastic. I thought they both worked really well together. I kind of bought the chemistry between them.
She's so genuine in this movie. Like
very
all
genuine.
her reactions seem incredibly genuine. Like the necklace scene where she loses it. Like,
but I think he did that. That was an outtake, or they did that on purpose, right? And they left it in there.
But that was her. Like everything she did just seemed to be. It was like it was a documentary. You were filming real reactions. She was incredible.
No, she was great. And I think there was a story there that Richard Gere was going to actually pass on the movie.
Yeah.
And then she sent him a note and said, "Please do the movie.
Please sign."
But look, I think she's great. I think they both work really well together in this movie, and that's kind of what makes it. I think that everyone loves is that they're very believable.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Dan? What do you got?
Yeah, same. I had Star Turn by Julia Roberts. I mean, it's a pretty suspect role that could have been handled poorly by someone without her gravitas. Like, she's just a movie star ready to be unleashed. And kudos to the producers as well for whilst the budget wasn't massive, they put a lot of faith in Richard Gere coming off some absolute stinkers and being pretty much stone cold as far as his career at the time. And then Julia Roberts was not an unknown, but certainly hadn't carried a movie herself. But yeah, she just goes kaboom. She's by far the best bit about this movie.
Yeah, there's no doubt. She's incredible. Like, you're mesmerized by her performance. She's that good. It just comes across as just genuine.
Yeah,
and it's hard not to sort of fall into that with her. I've got the soundtrack.
No, there you go.
The soundtrack is out now, good, but I think the only thing that beats the soundtrack is the Jimmy Fallon and Paul Rudd takeoff of Wishful Thinking.
People, go look it up.
No, don't look it up. It's in the show notes.
Oh,
I have a link.
Don't look it up. Go to the show notes.
Go to the show notes. There's a link there. Click on that. It'll be 4 minutes and 34 seconds of your life that you will thoroughly enjoy. It is one of the best things ever.
Morg, can you get that up on the MySpace page too?
I can. I'll get it up there.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks.
Excellent.
And Morg's mentioned it earlier. I've got Hector Elizondo.
Yeah, really good.
He is so good in this role because at the start you think that he could very easily have been a villain, but he sort of has her back, can see that she's actually this beautiful person, and just he's really happy for her and sort of he's on her side the whole time. Whereas in most movies, the hotel manager would be the villain in that sort of scenario. So I really liked that. I thought that was sort of flipping that on its head a bit.
Even after Richard Gere just brushes him, he goes, "Who are you?" "I'm Bernard Thompson." The manager.
Yeah,
and then actually he walks off.
And actually, the quote that sort of signifies it for me is at the end when he says to Edward, he goes, "It must be difficult to let something so beautiful go," or so whatever he says when he's got the necklace, and he's ultimately just saying you fucked up. And so just really, really good. Like
well
written. I also think that really well written. Like it's amazing. It's really clever. And I also think that for a rom-com, it's actually pretty slick, this movie. There's not a lot of fat on this movie.
No.
Like it's set piece to set piece. There's action all the time. You don't sit there and go, I wasn't bored at all for a 2-hour movie.
No, it flows really well, doesn't it? Yeah. I was quite surprised it went really quickly.
Whereas because most rom-coms, there's 15 to 20 minutes where you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I don't think there was none of that. Okay. What about bad? We'll start with you, Morgs. What do you got?
It's a pretty glorified view of sex work in the cinema. It's very, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure who this movie's for, and I'll come back to it. But when they were kicking this around, and I know that there were some changes from the original script, but yeah, I mean, this is Disney. I didn't watch it with my kids because I wasn't sure how to explain what the role was and
what she was.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, sex workers have been portrayed in cinema and probably a little bit more gritty and realistic. Like if you think of Living in Las Vegas, Requiem for a Dream, Taxi Driver, Midnight Cowboy. I mean, there's definitely a far less glamorous take.
You've gone to the other end of the spectrum.
I have, but I don't think there's anything in between. Like this is
obviously. No, you're right. That's an excellent
very,
point, right.
very, very far fetched. So it's not 1 minute of her story rings true at all, but it's enjoyable as a love story. But if you are willing to forego reality and think that this is a plausible scenario. So yeah, and the other one was Jason Alexander's assault in the hotel room. That I'd forgotten all about that. That's how long I haven't seen it for. And that was. I mean, I just can't see that in a movie these days, especially a Disney movie these days. It's just not.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, it was awful.
I've got that in Ugly.
Yeah.
But I've got Jason Alexander in Bad as well.
I had him for my Bad.
Yeah, because and just the polo scene as well, where he figures out that she's a.
Well, he gets told.
He gets told she's a hook, so he's straight over to her.
Straight over there.
And I'm like, mate, he's your mate.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
And your wife's just there too, and he's just gone straight over.
And his wife was Amy Asbeck. She's a good sword.
But he's obviously making that point. But look, the thing, I had him for my Bad because that is the worst character in the movie.
Yeah.
But the fact that Jason Alexander can go from being such a lovable rascal, like crazy lunatic in Seinfeld, and then go to this, it just shows how good an actor he is. Like, because he's so believable.
He's so believable.
He's so bad. He just wants to cut them down. He wants the money. He wants, like, he gives it to her. Like he just plays that role really well.
Well, he's just so used to taking what he wants because he's been able to because of Richard Gere, right? Because of Ed Wood, right? So he just thinks, well, I want it. I'm just going to take it. Yeah. Like it's like a business. It's like a company.
That's how he views it straight away.
Yeah. I found Richard Gere might have been a little too aloof, like just a little too. I don't know. I found him at the start. He obviously melts as the movie goes on, and you sort of find out why. But he's a bit too tortured for no reason. Like there's no reason for you to be so miserable. But it's sort of just saying that money isn't everything, I guess. But
I think it's because he said in the movie his dad died the month before, so he's obviously looking for companionship or something because he doesn't just pick her up off the street, right? He takes her to the hotel and wants her to hang around for the week, so he's got someone, I guess,
for sure
to hang around with.
Yeah,
he's a bit aloof when he comes to the movie, but he's got a few one-liners. He's a bit cold in the middle there. A couple of his one-liners are like cutting.
Cold. Yeah, he's cold. He's a pure businessman.
Yeah.
Look, if there was any doubt that this is a Cinderella story, the ending, which is as corny as can be, the prince rides in on his white stallion and the trumpets are playing the opera as he saves the princess from the window. It was just, I found that to be a little corny.
Oh, it was very, but I guess it harks back to the story when she said, the fairy tale. She had that fairy tale when she was a kid. So that's,
I get that.
But it ties in, but it is very corny.
Just like, mate, come on.
And he has to make his way up the fire escape.
Yeah, it's like, she's what's the one from Tangled? Rapunzel.
Yes.
Okay, what about Ugly? You got anything for Ugly?
For me, we've covered it. I mean, that's the Ugly is that whole scene.
Yeah, the penthouse scene is hard to watch. Yeah, so I think we all agreed that that's the Ugly bit. All right, well, that was pretty quick, and good segue here as we move into Morgs's quick fire.
Yes, fellow F-wits, really quick for quick fire. This is where we go through a couple of categories and quickly provide our thoughts. We start off with a scene from the movie a la That's Not a Knife in Crocodile Dundee that maybe has passed over into popular culture. Gents, my wife quoted the shit. I could quote the entire movie verbatim, so I'm probably not the right one to answer this. But did you guys, was there anything you picked up that you think carries on to this day that has come?
I think that there's some movies that you know what they are from maybe one scene, and I think the necklace scene is the thing that I remember the most from this movie, where that as well, and her hair, like just her hair, like that. They're the two things I think that have probably.
I think the scene where she loses control of the snail. when she flicks the snail
that's
and he
funny.
catches it,
That's
and
funny.
she goes slippery little suckers.
Yeah.
I think that has sort of borne on a lot. You hear a lot of people saying that.
Yeah.
Saying that.
Yeah.
That little saying over time.
I think it was a rite of passage for all young women to watch this movie. Whereas, as Morg said earlier, that we're watching and quoting Die Hard, they're quoting Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's next, mate?
Good one. Hey, Derek Spreckensy Dick from Step Brothers for the biggest douchebag character in the film. I mean, Jason Alexander is the standout. Anyone else that's really
no?
steps
Well,
up to the plate?
you could actually rename the category to Philip Stuckey.
Yeah,
the Philip Stuckey Award.
He is completely evil.
You really could.
So yeah,
he's shit.
Yeah, but as you said, just a brilliant turn by Jason Alexander because not his normal fare, and I thought he was excellent in the part. So, so I've renamed this last one after our Caddyshack episode. Instead of Jennifer Jason Leigh in backdraft, it will here now be called the entire cast of Caddyshack for the actors that think they're in a different movie to everyone else. So, is there anyone in this movie that you felt was probably but didn't really get the memo?
I don't think so. I think everyone played their role quite well.
Yep. I think Ralph Bellamy's
nephew,
grandson.
He's a bit of a dick.
He's a little bit of a dick, but not really needed. I mean, didn't add that much. He went to the dinner.
It was only really he wasn't
really much in it, but
he was a one sort of act set up for when she talks to him at the polo match. I reckon that's the only reason he was in the film, so that they could have that scene and Richard Gere could get a bit jealous. But yeah, I agree. I think it was everyone was singing from the same hymn sheet in this particular film. So none of the Caddyshack excesses. Ripley running for a particularly poor show of athletic prowess, a la Ripley Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. I had Richard Gere's punch on Jason Alexander at the end. It was fairly Hollywood, and his little mitts looked a bit sore at the end, but nothing really else that
I've got one. I got one, but it's a behind the scenes.
I got his effort trying to get up the fire escape at the end. Terrible. Like, I know you got a fear of heights, mate, but come on, you're on the first level.
Yeah,
you're backed against the wall.
Yeah. I've got the snail catching waiter. Apparently, that took multiple takes for him to catch the snail. And Garry Marshall was throwing the snail at him, and he just kept dropping it and going, "Happens all the time." Well, you can't catch it, mate, so it doesn't happen all the time.
Oh, nice. Robot sentries again from the magnificent Aliens film for a scene in a director's cut that you'd like to have seen in this movie to give us a bit more background. I thought maybe a little bit about the pimp or whoever the fuck Carlos was that they talked about. I didn't get a good sense of what they were fearful of or what the challenge was for.
Well, there's
Vivian.
no reason for her to. Well, there is. Obviously, she's a hooker, but there's no sense of urgency for her to get out.
No, she seemed quite fine. She seemed reasonably happy. She was making freight.
Yeah,
she's a smart girl. I didn't.
She's not kissing lips.
No, she's got her rules.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. Yep.
But
again, I don't think it's required.
No, absolutely. It's just
the movie still flows great without it.
You've just got to suspend your disbelief at that particular setup. But no, I agree. I'm not.
Well, look, Vivian and Sally Ann Huckstep have a different thought process on the adult, entertainment world.
That's it.
Kid was stealing her cash. Kid was stealing all the cash off her best mate.
Yeah. You need to go to the dentist. She needed all the money for the dentist.
She was out with Carlos. She was partying with Carlos.
She was on the bags.
She was on the bags with Carlos.
She was writing kick-ass credit songs.
That does help. Finally, last one. Whitey's Brad Pitt for the actor in the movie that you would have liked to have a bit of DBL with. What if we take Julia Roberts out of contention? Anyone else that springs to mind?
Jason Alexander's wife's a good sort. Amy Yazbek. She's a nice looking lady, but Richard Gere's a good looking rooster. He's adventurous.
He's a handsome.
And he's
guy.
adventurous.
Yeah.
He's adventurous. All right.
He's down for anything. So I think good choice. That's it. Quick fire. Well played.
Nice. We're just rolling through.
Whitey, you got to hit us with your 1 degree. We didn't get to 1 degree.
Yeah, we're going to do 1 degree. It's coming.
Oh,
It's
okay.
coming. It's
Right
coming.
on.
We'll do it after. We'll do it now then, Gal. Now that you're very edgy with 1 degree. Now, 1 degree of Kurt Russell. Hector Elizondo had an uncredited role in Overboard as the garbage scow skipper.
Okay, yeah.
There we go. 1 degree of Kurt. I think there's only been 1 or 2 movies that there's not been a 1 degree.
No,
Plenty of 1 degrees of Quigley.
Yeah, Quigley gets a good
down
run.
under.
What a
Not
masterpiece.
many 1 degrees.
Just quietly, Quigley was the number 56 movie of that year.
Wow.
Number 56 came in with $21.5 million.
Wowzers.
That's amazing. I wonder what they paid Selleck.
No idea.
3 men and a lady, 3 men and a baby. That he would have made some freight out of that, I reckon. So he did, because I was just thinking he didn't really make a changeover into the movies from TV. But yeah, I reckon 3 men and a little.
No, well, 3 Men and a Little Lady came out in 1990. Yeah, 3 Men and a Little. The follow up came out this year.
Well, he's in those. What are the movies? Goobs is huge on them. The one where he plays the copper.
Magnum.
I don't know. They're late.
Blue Bloods.
Now.
Blue Bloods.
No, he's in Blue Bloods, but there's another one where he plays the copper, and there's like their TV movies. They're actually pretty good. He wears this big sort of hat, cap, and drinks a cappuccino for the whole movie. Yeah, I'll think about it. That'll come to me as well.
Right.
Okay.
What is that?
Listen to this, and we'll start with G because this is his favourite segment. What do you got, mate?
I'll tell you what, we've probably covered most. Oh no, sorry. Listen to this. Yeah, we covered most of them, but we've covered Richard Gere playing the piano. Another good one here is the opera that Richard Gere takes Julia Roberts to is called La Traviata, and it is actually about a prostitute who falls in love with a wealthy man. There you go.
Clever.
He knew what he was doing.
He did.
And he said to her, you know, you'll get it, you'll understand it. Yeah. So that was the other one I had, apart from the other ones we've already talked about.
Yeah. So what about in the bathtub scene where she's singing? They had to put so much bubble in the bath that it actually took the dye out of her hair.
Yeah.
And they had to re-dye her hair that night for filming the next day. Yeah. So funny. So the necklace it was actually a $250,000 necklace that there was actually an armed guard on the set that followed her around.
$250K in 1990.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Whack.
Yeah. How old do you reckon Richard Gere was in this movie? Morgs?
I know
you do.
45.
How old do you reckon he is?
45? I don't know.
How old do you reckon she is? How old do you reckon she is?
I know.
25?
Okay. Well,
Close,
he was
Morgs.
40 and she was 22.
Ooh.
So it's an 18-year difference. It's a bit creepy, to be honest.
It is. Obviously, they're not playing those
they're
roles,
not.
but it is a big difference.
Yeah.
It's almost double her age.
Yeah. So what about the joke that the crew played on Julia Roberts in that Prince scene where she went underneath the water and she was singing, and the whole cast and crew left and just left, and she came up and there was no one left in front of her, not even the cameraman.
How good.
Yeah. They'd already got the shot, so they just moved on. Yeah. Funny.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about it. You mentioned about Ralph Bellamy.
I've got one, and it makes more sense because I've been perplexed about who the fuck this movie was for, really, when they were sitting around kicking around the writer's room. Because the original script was way, way darker than the final film. And I learnt a bit more about that. It started to make complete sense. So they were going, basically the climax of the original script was Richard Gere kicking Vivian out of the car and basically giving her $3,000 and saying, on your bike, thanks for the week. Don't let your ass hit the door on the way out. And it was a lot, and she was a drug addict in the original script, and it was certainly a bit grittier, and I guess probably where the original sex worker and business kingpin idea came to mind, because it doesn't naturally segue into a Disney movie from a, hey, I've had this idea about a hooker and a business guy. So the more I learned about that, the more it made sense. And it was J.F. Lawton was the screenwriter, and it was just a lot less fairy tale than what was cut together. And
well, Diane Lane was up for that role.
That's
Diane
right.
Lane was up for that role. Yeah.
So she
but
was
here's
filthy.
the thing, right? Sorry, but Disney have turned this into a rom-com and made hundreds of millions of dollars out of it. So someone there is really smart and going, you know, well, that's really dark.
Absolutely.
Sure. Let's turn it into this, and we're going to make a mozza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was still a big leap of faith. I think that the source material was definitely strange for a Disney movie. But yeah, absolutely, you're right. Yeah, kudos to the whoever the suits were. They've absolutely crushed it.
Well, that would explain and go to the reason why they didn't go too much into her sex working at the start. You know, they kind of touch on it a little bit and then they move on pretty quick.
Yeah.
So she's not in that sort of.
Although they mention the word hooker about 55 times during the movie.
They do.
One last bit. I was talking to a friend of the pod who will remain nameless, and there's a scene where where she first meets Richard Gere, and she pulls out a whole heap of things from her pocket and fans them out. And there's a red one, and a green one, and a blue one, and a gold one. And he just wasn't sure what they wore, and I said, "Oh, they're frangers."
Funny. Do you know that's not even Julia Roberts in the poster? Her head's superimposed on a model's body.
Well, they use a double for her body at the start.
Yeah.
Yes, she's doubled quite a bit. I mean, which is strange because she seems to be very well put together, Julia Roberts. So,
did you see the nip slip in the movie there towards the end, the last sex scene?
Did not.
There's a little nip slip there from Julia that they couldn't change. Go back.
I needed to get onto Flesh of the Stars.
Could be usable.
I'll be back.
It could be usable if you pause it at the right time. Okay. That's listen to this. We've done 1 degree. Now we'll move into the quotables. Now there's not, I'd say, a heap of quotes, but I've got a couple. Dan probably doesn't have any.
I did. I was amazed. I sat there with Sam all night, and she could literally recite the whole thing. So I had quite a few chuckles. There was some good writing in it, but no, nothing that really jumped out at me.
Yeah. What about you, Gere?
I got a couple here. Vivian, they're all obviously Vivian and Edward talking, but. Vivian saying, Edward, I would have stayed for 2,000.
The best.
And he said, I would have paid 4.
Yeah, it's the best.
And walks off while he's on the phone.
I love it.
The other one is Vivian saying to him, that would make you a lawyer. A lawyer? Mm-hmm. What makes you think I'm a lawyer? You got that sharp, useless look about you. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. I got what about when Vivian's down in the bar and Eddie turns up. She goes, you're late. And he goes, you're stunning. And she goes, you're forgiven. Smooth, Eddie. Smooth.
I got one where Vivian is talking to Bridget when Hector sends her on to Bridget to give her all the clothes. She's walking up and she goes, Bridge, he's not really my uncle. They never are, dear.
What about how bitchy those moles were in the dress shop?
Yeah, they were horrible.
Horrible. What about, can I call you Eddie? Not if you expect me to answer. Yeah. Another thing, I reckon Richard Gere looks a little bit like Mark Morgan. I reckon he's got some Mark Morgan qualities about him.
I think it's the hair.
The flowing dude. Yeah,
I think it's the hair.
Pepper dude.
Similar hair. Yeah.
Similar hair.
I agree.
I can see that. All right, excellent. All right, anything else there? We moving on? Film school for F-wits.
Yes, fellow F-wits. This week I thought I'd, in light of us taking on our first Romcom, and some of you may be coming kicking and screaming to join with us and watch it, but others are absolutely embracing it. I thought I'd actually look at 5 rom-coms for men that you can get some kudos with your wife or partner that don't suck like a J-Lo movie. And yes, I'm looking at you, fucking Made in Manhattan. So there are actually some rom-coms out there that are worth a look, and many of them we've spoken about on the pod before, and we probably haven't thought of them as a rom-com at the time, but I think they fit into the paradigm for sure of rom-com. The first one is Silver Linings Playbook, and I know it's a favourite of Whitey's. So it was originally set to star Vince Vaughn in Bradley Cooper's role, which I don't think would have worked. I can't see him and Jennifer Lawrence having the same chemistry that Bradley and her do. But what a great film! Obviously, a big turn out for Jackie Weaver as well. Robert De Niro, really good cast. Great film. The Eagles are looking good this year. I think Plims is carrying on about
Chris Rock.
On the line. Yeah,
what's his name? Not Chris Rock. Is it Chris Rock?
No,
it's not Chris Rock. Who's the guy that's the? Oh, what's his name? He's in Rush Hour.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah. He's great as well.
But yeah, brilliant. Like really, really good flick, but at its heart, a rom-com. It's so I think that if you haven't seen that, fellow F-wits, go and check it out. Next one, Groundhog Day. So you forget that this is such a brilliant film and an amazing shoot. And I know Bill Murray fucking hated it because it must have been an absolute punish to film. But at its core, I'd say it's a rom-com. So obviously, you remember more the elaborate setups of Bill Murray living his life over and over and over again, a la Groundhog Day. But in the end, he's really doing it all to try and get into Andy McDowell's pants. So I think that if you're looking to score a few points with the misso, then that could be worth a visit as a rom-com. Another one, Jerry Maguire. So hard to call it anything but a rom-com. So although it's a movie we've all enjoyed, the three of us especially, we've loved it for many years. And I think personally it's one of Cruise's best films for me. But it's, again, just a rom-com at heart. And between Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise, you get a view into, I guess, Cruise's character's arc as probably a little bit lost in love and a little bit shit at it, and then finally at the end realises how good he's got it, and then whereas Cuba Gooding Jr. just professes his love all the way through. So you get that nice contrast between the two characters. But again, you could sneak it in as a rom-com and put it on Friday night and get some points at home. This one I would encourage you to go and check out if you haven't seen it. I think Whitey mentioned it a few weeks back. It's called 500 Days of Summer. So it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. So it's a bit more of a modern take on the rom-com. It's actually pretty sad how it plays out, but it's a non-linear fashion that it's shot in. So it's the scenes are all over the shop, and you sort of cut from fast forward and into the rearview mirror, and it comes together the 500 days of this particular relationship. So whilst there's it certainly doesn't end up how they would have liked it if it was a Disney style, it's definitely a romantic movie at heart. I think really interesting how it was shot, and definitely one that dudes can watch and enjoy, or any people that love rom-coms. I don't mean to say that men don't particularly enjoy rom-coms, but if it hasn't been your cup of tea in the past, and like the three of us, you've gravitated more towards the die-hard skew of movies, then definitely worth a look. But my final one was actually thought back to when we were tackers, in a film that I actually secretly enjoyed, and definitely a romantic comedy, but a bit of a teen comedy, romantic comedy. But it was Patrick Dempsey and Amanda Peterson in a story about a nerd at high school in Tucson, Arizona, who gives a cheerleader $1,000 to pretend to be his girlfriend for a month. So the movie's called Can't Buy Me Love. I don't know why.
Can't Buy Me Love.
I don't know why I fucking love this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a long, long time, but I was thinking if someone held a gun at my head and said, you're going to watch a rom-com tonight, then I'd probably choose this one. So do you guys remember watching that when we were kids?
Yes, definitely. I think you'd be disappointed, Dan.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time,
yeah.
but it definitely heightened nostalgia. I thought that was one that
I remember thinking it was awesome at the time.
Yeah. So again, haven't
she was a great sort.
Really good cert. Yeah, but it didn't go on to do much else, Amanda Peterson. But Patrick Dempsey,
she's passed away. R.I.P.
Patrick Dempsey went from obviously nerd to McDreamy in Grey's Anatomy as well. So I had a nice turnaround. He was about 20 and married to a 58-year-old as well about the time. So he was a bit of a rare cat, but it came good in the end. Anyway, check it out or don't. 1987 American teen rom-coms. But yeah, the five of those notable other mentions of ones that I've enjoyed more recently. Crazy Stupid Love with the Gosling and Steve Carell even. Really funny, really enjoyable, but again, just really a rom-com. Get him to the Greek, probably a little bit harder to class as a rom-com, but definitely Jonah Hill's character does have a bit of an arc where he comes to realise how much he digs his girlfriend after cutting absolute sick on the bags with Alton. I can't remember the name. And last but not least, again, kicking back to our youth, but Heath Ledger, rest in peace, in 10 Things I Hate About You. Again, one that I remember fondly back from when I was a tacker, sneaking a view at and thinking that was pretty cool. But yeah, there we go. So that's my softer side. You can all get fucked, and there's 5 rom-coms and a couple of other special notables.
What about The Bodyguard?
Frank Farmer.
Cracker.
Really?
Mate,
she sings in it.
I'll tell you
great.
I couldn't watch that again though. Like I would not go out of my way to watch The Bodyguard.
Our mate from across the ditch, Old Strangles, who I actually caught up with this week.
Yeah,
had a banh mi roll at Miami Hot Bread, and he's over for a few days. he'd be turning in his long white cloud, hearing you say The Bodyguard. He hates it.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it a few times on the podcast, and I get abused every time.
I'm a
Really
strangles
hates
on
it.
that.
But one thing he does like, which is an eye into his soul, is that he actually really enjoys the Dan's movie recommendations. So he's watched Candy. He's watched some of the darker Snowtown, some of the things we've spoken about.
Strangles.
He,
Good work.
So you might need to throw him a bone at some stage today.
Mate,
and make sure you.
I've got a new category for the end of the pod, and it's just for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, good one.
Okay. I've got one. I one that I really, really, really like, which is a semi-recent one from the 2010s. It's got Rachel McAdams in it, who I have a massive crush on.
Yeah, good sort.
And it's called Morning Glory, where she plays the producer of the morning show. And it's got Harrison Ford. It's got a great cast in it, actually, and it is freaking really funny. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. I watch it more than I'd like to tell
Morning
you.
Glory is a guilty pleasure of yours. Who'd have known?
Yeah, it's more of an annoyance for Megan. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and it's an annoyance for Megan. So anyway, yeah, there we go. Anything, Gal? You want to add anything about rom-coms other than Bodyguard?
You would have
Bodyguard. And look,
Gal. You would have been forced to sit through a fucking plethora of rom-coms. So lay it on us. What is the least shit
Give
of
us
the
one.
ones that you've been forced to watch in your married life?
I don't know off the top of my head. That's putting me on the spot. I can't think of any rom-coms. What rom-coms are out there? I've seen heaps of them.
Fair enough, yeah.
I've seen as many as everyone else has.
Yeah, no doubt.
We've all had to watch them.
Right, well, we don't want to get Gow. We don't want to rock Gow too much, because he's, as we speak, stepping up onto the podium for Stan Bush kick-ass credit song. Now, Gow, walk us through the song, tell us what it is, and just belt it out.
All right. Well, here we go. Look, it's pretty self-explanatory. The song's called "What a Difference a Week Makes."
Oh, nice. Is it an original composition?
What do you mean?
Well, okay. Let me just roll it. I'll rock it at me, and let's find out.
Of course, it's original.
Okay, just throwing it out there.
Like all my stuff. Here we go. What a difference a week makes. Vivian Ward was an LA hooker getting ripped off by a mate. Kit DeLuca till Fast Eddie Lewis entered the fray. American gigolo by night, corporate raider by day. It's $3,000 for the week. She made it quite clear, dropping jaws everywhere in the Beverly, Wiltshire. But Rodeo Drive treats her just like a John Doe, except for the best mate. It's Hector Elizondo.
Treats it just like a John Doe? What the fuck's a John Doe?
This is your best yet, Gow. Keep going.
In the space of 1 week, it's a full love affair. No more Las Palmas Hotel because she's a zillionaire. Could have been working for Carlos, the sleazy pimp fuck. No, the other one, not who's mates with Pop Clark. What a difference a week makes. No longer a pro. No sleazy Phil Stuckey cracking on at the polo. What a difference a week makes. The full fairy tale. No longer on the clock. No longer for sale. What a difference a week makes.
Oh my God. No wonder. No longer on the clock. No longer for sale.
Oh.
Gow, that's your masterpiece. What's a John Doe?
I'm going to go further.
A John Doe, like a dead person. They treat it like a
John
John Doe.
John Doe, right.
It was the phrasing that fucked us. Now, I'm going to say that between the two of you, I think we have the perfect combination. I think, Gow, you're Bernie fucking Taupin and Whitey is Elton John. And I think you could just you could make a living doing these things. That was an incredible rendition. The same melody you use every time, which I love. But well done. Absolutely.
That actually was a bit original, that one.
That was more original.
Yeah.
I could have gone into Vivian Ward was an LA hooker getting ripped up by a mate. Kit DeLuca. Till Fast Eddie Lewis entered the fray.
Yeah, that I'm sorry. That's your masterpiece.
Yeah, well
I
done.
keep saying that every week. You are upping the game.
Again,
and after
I
that,
question the amount of time put into that. I don't think it was quite.
I actually reckon that was short.
Morgs, I promise you.
Yeah.
I wrote the first verse and the second half of the second verse. So the first half of the second verse in about 10 minutes.
Well done. Yeah,
and then I didn't have a hook. And then I spent about 20 minutes flicking it around, 20, 25 minutes because I didn't have a hook. And then I was like, what a difference a week makes. And I was like, oh, and then the rest of it came out after that.
Yeah,
but
well done.
It wasn't that long, I promise you.
Well done.
It wasn't 10 minutes.
Well done.
Okay, so we've gone from the star of the podcast now, and we're going to slide into the star of the show. We're going to start with you up on the land, Dan. Who's your star of the show?
It was in our good. I think we all agree. This is Julia Roberts' movie. This is what makes her. This is what the producers in Hollywood saw and went on to make $2 billion off her name and in her film. So yeah, a star is born. A Hollywood movie star is born in this movie, and she is by far the biggest thing about this.
Yeah, I can't disagree. She's my star of the show. It's pretty easy. I really like Hector Elizondo, though. I thought
same.
For such a small role, I think he made a huge impact in the movie.
He's class act.
But this is, as you said, an out-and-out star turn from Julia Roberts, and it is obvious that she's going to just take the world by storm.
As she does in the next 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, I agree with that. We talked about it earlier. We can't go past that.
Yeah. All right, well done. Now, I was actually super surprised at how much I enjoyed watching Pretty Woman. I guess it's a bit different watching something that you haven't watched 40 or 50 times to watching something that is still relatively new. And I was left guessing. I'd forgotten half the movie. So I actually really enjoyed it, to be honest. And I guess that takes us into the rank bank. And I've got a few.
I've got a new segment before the rank bank. It's called If You Like This. If you like this, what else to watch? So I think that, so every week we should go, right, if you dug this, these are other films that you should check out. The only problem is fuck knows why you'd watch this, what else you'd be into. So maybe let's start this segment next week. But in the meantime, it's got nothing to do with Pretty Woman. But Strangles, go and watch Requiem for a Dream if you haven't, because this is, you'll only do it once, and we all had to do it. We all had to sit through it. But it's another depiction of sex work that probably isn't as Disney-fied as this one, but it's an incredible film anyway. So Jared Leto, one of the Wayans, and Jennifer Connelly in just an incredible against type role that you'll watch it once, but you'll leave the cinema, leave your big screen thinking, fucking hell, what has he tipped me into? But just an incredible film in its own right.
You can watch that, Strangles, if you want. I wouldn't. But anyway, it's a one watch maybe. So let's move into the rank bank. I've got a few things to throw up. I'd love some feedback as usual. I've got Cinderella stories. I've got boring billionaires. I've got mouth kisses. I've got rapey lawyers, and I've got thigh-high FMBs. Anything to add?
I like them all. There was a cocktail at the Tanuki bar, rest in peace, which I think could have done well. It was called Double Rubber, No Kissing.
Okay. Yeah, anything?
No, I'm happy. You choose.
Well, let's go thigh-high FMBs.
Yeah, I think that's
for the amazing boots that she wears at the start of the movie. So let's move into the score. So, Dan, how many thigh-high FMBs are you going to give Pretty Woman?
I was just confused watching this movie. It was massive. It made heaps of freight. Chicks absolutely love it. I didn't hate the experience, but it was just weird. I just didn't understand how it became a thing, how everyone, it was like a Men in Black type arrangement where we were all hit with the glow stick. And everyone was just sort of the Borg mentality and went, oh, yeah, this is sick. Like, it's just fucking weird. So two thigh-high FMBs out of 5 for me, just because it confuses me. And whilst enjoyable, I will be Marie Kondoing it for sure. Bye-bye. Thank you for the good times.
Fair enough.
You go Caddyshack a higher rating, Morgs.
Harsh.
It's harsh, but good. All right.
What about you, G-Man?
Look, apart from Morgs' comments, it's a watchable movie. I watched it again, as we talked about earlier. It was fun to watch again. I haven't seen it for quite a while, but the time didn't sort of drag in the movie. I wasn't looking at my phone to see how long I had to go. I'm going to give it 3 thigh-high FMBs.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's really good, Gere, because I'm actually giving this 3 thigh-high FMBs as well. And my reason is that I actually really enjoyed it, and I think it's better than an average movie. So if 2.5 is average, it's better than an average movie. I was actually considering giving it 3.25, but I think it's probably a 3, which actually I'm also, could it be better for me for The Goonies? Maybe. I actually was surprised how much I enjoyed this. But Gal, let me just hit the button here and we'll get this changed so you can tell us
It's got to be
where
dead
this
last.
sits
Surely that's dead
in the
last.
rank bank.
It's not going to be
No, it's
high.
not. It's not going to be. It's not dead last. Have a look now and tell me where Pretty Woman ranks on the rank bank.
All right, out of the 35 movies that we have done, this has come in at number 32. So it is 2.67 thigh-high FMBs, right below the Goonies at 2.83 One-Eyed Willies, and right above the Golden Child at 2.5 Ajanti Daggers. So that's yeah, okay. Below the Goonies, below Lost Boys, Caddyshack, Love Actually above it.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm not. I think it's about right for us. I think that's pretty well rated. 2.67. I'd watch Bloodsport again before I'd watch Pretty Woman. I'd watch Pretty Woman before I watch The Golden Child again, though. That's for sure. And the Roadhouse still is holding last place, and they have announced during the week.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That the Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor movie is a go-ahead.
It's a thing.
That'll be interesting.
It has been greenlit. They've started publicity shots. It's going to be heinous. Okay, so what are we watching? Been a big week. Gow, you've been watching anything special you'd like to tip into the people?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're fucking shit. Every week. What do you do with yourself? Every week you're like, no. What? What do you do?
I was just trying to think. I was trying to think what I watched this week. We've been watching in my house. Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt your rant?
I just want to know what you do with yourself.
We've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'll get it out
Great
sooner.
show.
We've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine a fair bit this week. We're watching a lot of reruns of that.
That was the fucking question. The question was, what have you been watching?
Yeah, and I said, I'm just trying to think.
No,
And then
you
I got
said,
your
no,
rant.
nothing. No, it's been a big week. I'm busy.
Didn't say any of those things, Morgs. No, I've been watching that. I was going to watch. What's the one you talked about last week, Morgs? Mayor of Kingstown.
Yes,
I was going to put that on last night, but I didn't get a chance to put it on.
Tip us into it. I was talking to Flipper about this midweek because I said, Flipper, when I see the SWAT cock scenes, I like to think that was how you would judge an executioner back in the day, and he giggled. But yeah, excellent.
He's giggled. He goes, "Yeah, that was me, but except I was aiming at the wrong windows."
Mayor of Kingstown is excellent, Gal. I agree.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, I want to get onto that this week.
All right. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, Mayor of Kingstown. I think the second episode of season 2 must be about to drop, so I'll check that out. Last of Us, second episode as well. Haven't seen that yet, but ready to get it out.
I'm watching that tonight.
I've been trying out something new again in the name of marital harmony. I had to pick up a series that my wife and I could enjoy. That we could actually sit down and enjoy a series. So we've been trying Yellow Jackets. Did you guys ever watch that?
Yeah, it's got Juliette Lewis in it, right?
It has Juliette Lewis and Christina Ricci and Melanie Linsky.
Sort of like is it a sci-fi thing? Is it like a futuristic?
No, it's a soccer team from the 90s, girls' high school soccer team that crash a plane in the woods and don't get found for 18 months. And then it's flash forward to their lives in the present day, and there's something's going on when they're there. So we don't know a lot.
Yeah. They've eaten each other.
It's that's what's implied, but we haven't seen that yet. But it's it's fine. I'm enjoying it, and it got rated pretty well. But a problem I have, and it's something we've discussed many times, is it's just the American producers that build these series for Showtime Network or HBO, and they just do too many episodes. It's too fucking slow. There's too much padding. They just need to get those brilliant UK producers that'll do 6 absolute ball-tearing episodes rather than 12 or 13 middling episodes that just take you forever to get to where you need to be. So that would be my only complaint. But it's okay. I'll reserve my go and watch it fellow F-wits at this stage, but I'm definitely checking it out to see if I can get grabbed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's one other. One before I go. Did you ever watch 000?
Yes.
That was, because it just popped up the other day, and I thought, I think I've seen that, and then I turned it on. I was like, I have seen that, but F-wits, if you have not seen that, check it out. It's about a depiction of the global drug trade and all the touch points of it as it gets transported across the globe, and it's a really interesting cast and just a fucking good production and worth a look. So go and check that out.
It is unreal, that show, isn't it?
Yeah, really good.
I remember watching that. I was hooked into that show.
Yeah, awesome.
Very good. Okay, I finished season 3 of Yellowstone last night, so I'll probably crack on, which is a very good cliffhanger. Massive shootout.
this is
stuff going on.
This is the one I was telling you about. The next episode you're about.
Yeah,
to take
so
on is
looking
awesome.
forward to season 4, episode 1, which we'll probably crack on tonight. But also want to watch episode 2 of The Last of Us, which has been amazing. I don't know if I've spoken, but I ended up finishing Andor, which is the Star Wars one about Cassian
Yeah, what do you
Andor.
think? It's got a good rap.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Got a good,
really good.
Yeah.
I found it difficult at the start. The first 3 or 4 episodes were a little slow, but it definitely picks up. And the last 3 episodes are standout. They're really good. So they're great. Really looking forward to watching The Last of Us episode 2 tonight, which is very good. Okay, that's it for this episode of A Pretty Woman, but we need to talk about next week. And for once, we've all agreed pre-show what we're doing. And we're going to stick with a somewhat female-friendly fire.
Everyone told us marriage is hard work. Not for me and Nick.
As you all know, my wife, Amy Elliott Dunn, disappeared 3 days ago. I had nothing to do.
A David Fincher-directed thriller, which is actually really special. Gone Girl, starring Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. This is going to be fun. I actually really enjoy this movie. It'd be good to actually look at it from a different perspective and just see how I can cut it up, so to speak. Cut it up like Doogie Howser does. Yes.
Yeah, good.
So it should be fun.
Pick. Looking forward to that. We're trying. Okay, listeners, fellow F-wits, we're trying to get out of our lane a bit, stray out of our comfort zone. That's why you got Pretty Woman, and that's why we're going to try Gone Girl. So get fucked. We're trying.
Yeah. And on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure spending 90 minutes with my 2 old mates talking about movies that changed our world and the greater world. So from now, it's see you later.
Goodbye, everyone.
See.
That'll be cut out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.